Hey, basketball fans, I'm George Sedano. On the latest NBA Lockdown podcast, Kevin Pelton, Amin Al-Hassan, and I discuss the back and forth between LeBron James and Phil Jackson. Could there be an NBA team coming back to Seattle? And are the Raptors for real?
Welcome to The Jump, presented by Doers.
Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, seven-time All-Star Tracy McGrady holding down that end of the table, and the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with us again. We are so thrilled, and I'm just going to embarrass you and list off all the stats every time you're here because I love saying it. 6 rings, 6 MVPs, people, and 27 years after he retired, he's still the leading scorer of all time. And by the way, now I can add, just announced this morning by President Obama, the recipient of the Medal of Freedom. That is the highest civilian honor we have in this country. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That is very big. I am very honored that you are here with us today.
Yeah, and I always try to be modest, but it's hard when they give you that medal, because, it's so rare.
That is an understatement and nothing you should be modest about. I am very impressed. But we already knew how great you were. So,
well, thank you.
One more thing to add to the ledger. And guys, I do want to start out the show talking about something that was actually really just a small line sort of in a recent story, but it could end up having enormous impact on both the NBA and college basketball as we currently know it. The new collective bargaining agreement is going to more than double salaries for the D-League. And it's also going to allow teams to have two-way contracts between the minors and majors, so to speak, kind of like hockey does. So suddenly, playing in the D-League is going to become more attractive for more players who might have gone to Europe, maybe even more kids coming straight out of high school. Remember, it was just earlier this month that number 1 overall pick Ben Simmons said what a waste of time his 1 year at LSU was. And it was also just earlier this month that NCAA President Mark Emmert responded to Simmons saying, yeah, wait for it, if someone wants to be a pro basketball player and doesn't want to go to college, don't go to college. We don't need to put a gun to your head. That's nice language, right? By the way, from an educator? Anyway, actually, as much as I am not a fan of Emmert, I do hardly agree with him here. Unless the NCAA changes its rules and starts paying its players instead of, just making millions of dollars off the back of their work, then yeah, more players should consider not going. Because something has to get us out of this messy middle ground we're in right now. Going to college 1 year, it's not helping anyone. It's not helping the players who are getting no substantive education as they only need to attend class for 1 semester. It's not helping college basketball, which has seen quality of play drop dramatically. And it's not helping the NBA. They're getting all these 19-year-olds who are not yet fully mature, who haven't been taught so many of the basic fundamentals of the game. Now, it is not lost on me that I am sitting at this desk with Tracy McGrady, who did go straight to the NBA from high school. And at the other end of the spectrum, we have Kareem, who did spend 4 years in college, as part of the greatest program of all time at UCLA. So I do want to see where you guys are on this. D-League, of course, stands for Developmental League. And Kareem, do you think that enhancing the D-League could be a benefit here and change the path of players going to the NBA?
I think it's a good alternative. I think it's someplace where someone who might not do very well in college can go and learn the game and then try to make the transition once they learn what is required of a professional athlete. So I hope that more guys go to the D-League because going to college on such a phony basis, it really doesn't make much sense.
My stance on this is, they doubled the salaries, but there's still other and better alternatives out there. Going to play in China, where they're paying millions of dollars for 3 and 4 months. I get the kids that, are affiliates with teams that have to play in the D-League.
Right.
But for those guys that can make a better living going overseas for a better alternative.
You still pick that?
I'll still pick that any day. Because at the end of the day, you're playing 3 and 4 months, you have a good season, you still can come back over here and play in the NBA if you're good enough.
What about kids, though, who want to get on that path to getting drafted? Because right now those kids aren't going to play in China at 18 years old, largely. They're going to college, and it doesn't seem like it's a good system for them. I mean, they're going to play for basically free, and people who say, they're getting a college education, they're not getting a college education under the system. Yeah. That is not what's happening. So they are going to play basically for free. They're not getting the instruction that you got. I mean, what you learned under John Wooden, it is literally invaluable. And if you got at least 2 years, if we raised the age limit to 20, and they got at least 2 years in the D-League with good coaches, and that was a path that was known to be a path to the draft, so it wasn't like go play in China where no one's seeing you. I don't know. It just feels to me like this could be a solution finally to a really big problem.
Right, because going to college involves another set of circumstances that they might not be ready for. You go to college, you have to defer to the upperclassmen and earn your playing time. But I think that's a good character builder for a young player to realize that they have to learn and
I don't know, Kareem.
Do that.
It's not back when you was in the game in college. You got these guys like Ben Simmons, who's receiving all kind of attention when he's a sophomore in high school. So by the time it's time for him to go to college, he's a freshman. He is by far the most well-known collegiate player, far past guys that's been there for 2 and 3 years, and some guys that are even seniors. So he doesn't really have to go in there and earn a spot because he is the guy that everybody wants to see.
Right. Well, where are you on the age limit these days? Because you were a benefit of no age limit.
I'm biased, because...
Well, 18.
I'm biased to this because of, in my era, when I came out, most of the guys that came out of high school were the best players in the league.
Right.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, look at young Tracy.
Kevin Garnett. Myself. These guys came straight out of high school and became, you got these guys first ballot Hall of Fame. Right. But I will not dismiss the guys that did try to come out and ruin their whole career.
You saw that.
I saw that firsthand. But I think it's on the player to make that choice. If a team takes a chance on a guy coming out of high school, that's on the team, right?
Well, I don't think it's one size fits all.
Right.
Some guys do better in one set of circumstances and other guys do better in others.
Correct.
But you're kind of jamming people into one size fits all if you're saying at 18 you can come in, or even really at 19 come in, because there's that pressure to then do it even if you're not really ready and try to, get in and get the money and get the contract when you can, which I understand. And I get the argument of, these guys have a right to make a living, and I certainly think that's true, and especially people from economic circumstances where they need to and want to go out and earn and have a job and earn money. But they're talking about D-League salaries that are going to be at $75,000. The average salary for an American with a high school diploma is in the $20,000, $25,000 range. So that's still much better than most people who have a high school diploma. It's better than the starting salary I got coming out of college. I think that qualifies as, hey, they have the right to earn a living. You do have the right to earn a living. I don't know if you have the right to earn millions of dollars right off the bat when you're 18. Again, that could kind of bridge the gap. And then you could raise that age limit without hampering.
Baseball players, they come out, they sign $1 million contracts.
But that's a different sport. It's a different time a different timing in their athletic career when they have to try to make the pros. I think it's not the same for every sport.
Well, different sport, but certainly maybe a model that we can take. And what's happening now isn't working, so we do know that, and we do have to fix something about it. I want to switch gears and talk about guys who are in the league right now. There's a couple big men in the West that, Kareem, we're going to do a little Dear Abby. They need your advice. DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, both lead their teams in scoring. They're among the league scoring leaders, but their teams, just 6 wins between them, especially with Davis. It's hard not to feel like some prime years of this incredible, unique talent are getting wasted. So, Kareem, there's been a lot of suggestions that Boogie and certainly now AD, maybe they should try to force a trade, but of course there's always a backlash when a player does that. When you were with the Bucks and you realized that was no longer a good fit for you in terms of where you were in the country, where you were with the team, how did you maneuver your way out and still sort of make good with the public as you did it?
Well, what I saw as my obligation was to live up to my professional responsibilities. That's what I felt I needed to do. And I'd helped them win a world championship, and things had gone the other way by that point, and we didn't have a very good team, and I didn't feel like sticking around, waiting for all the cards to fall in place.
That's a very nice diplomatic way to say it.
You know how that can be, right?
I know.
We're going to get to your situation in a minute. But I do. So you went to the team, right? And you said that you wanted them to deal you or
to
what?
To make the best deal that they could, but I wasn't interested in staying. And also my last year was coming up.
Right. So you had a little bit of leverage
So I had some leverage there. And but I told them, I wasn't going to say anything and let them make the best deal that they could make. And hopefully everybody would be happy with the result.
And you didn't say anything publicly, is that right?
No, I didn't.
Right. So this was all behind the scenes.
Right.
When the Lakers deal came up, did you approve that before that went through? Did they come to you first and say, "Is this good?"
Yeah. I mean, and they told me what progress they were making. So they treated me very well. I don't have any complaints about my stay in Milwaukee. They treated me very well. And I did the best I could for them, and they appreciated that. So,
When did you know it was time to get out?
I 4 years in Orlando where I was extremely frustrated. Like the first couple years were cool because I was making a name for myself in the league. But then after that, I was ready to win. I didn't have Grant Hill because of his health. And by the fourth year, it was time, man, because, it was wear and tear on my body. And that's what I'm afraid of these guys. They're playing extremely hard every night, carrying this team, this franchise on their back, and nothing really to show for it. It's tough, but at the end of the day, be a professional, stay a professional, show up to work, and just continue to do your job.
Right.
You can't control what these guys do in the front office, but what you can control is how you play, how you approach the game every day, and that's what I think they should continue to do. We all see this. We see this.
It's hard. I mean,
it's very hard.
I like the Pelicans. I love New Orleans. I love that the NBA worked to keep a team there, and it's still really hard to watch.
I feel like
almost trapped there, right?
I feel like I wasted some of my best years, in Orlando, not having a team around me to be able to win and elevate my talent and the players that I played with.
Isn't that home for you, though?
It is. Yeah. It is. And that's what was so disappointing about it, because I wanted to be there. I wanted to stay.
Right.
Things just didn't get better because, we were stuck with Grant Hill's contract, and he wasn't healthy.
Right.
Now, had I had him, it would have been a
whole different issue. As you said, live up to your professional obligation. AD
did
sign that deal, so he has a
Stuck with it.
professional
And,
obligation right now.
Where else are you going to go to make that kind of money?
Well, maybe on another team if he forced to trade, but that's a whole other issue.
Yeah,
right now,
right.
he's living up to his professional obligation. We got to take a quick break, but Kareem is here. We have so much more to talk about. The Clippers, they may be 10-1, but these two guys, D'Angelo and Julius, they're trying to make sure we also don't forget about Kareem's old team, the Lakers. Plus, here's Wired Wednesday.
I got ball. Go. Winslow drives to the basket alley. Two-hand jam right side. Williams the three. Good shot, Lou. There we go. 3 stops in a row, and we've scored every time. Hey, I love that we're having fun out there, but we ain't finished our job yet. Let's finish our job. Bounce calls. It counts as a foul. What a move by Dwayne Wade. Good shot, boy.
The Jump is presented by Doers, the world's most awarded blended Scotch whiskey. Live true. Drink responsibly. Welcome back to The Jump. Presented by Doers.
Yes. Unguardable. Right. Yeah. LeBron. Inside. Down you go. Oscar, that's for you. Okay. Man. LeBron almost went past the basket and dunked it back in the hoop.
Welcome back to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. We are here with the all-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Tracy McGrady, 7-time All-Star, and you got it. When you see LeBron doing his LeBron things, it's got to be fun, even for someone who could do all that yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Kareem can't do that.
I could at one time.
I mean, maybe not currently in this studio, but I wouldn't bet against him either, would you?
Kareem doing that right there?
Come on.
Dribbling, weaving through traffic, Kareem?
Why not?
Okay.
Don't doubt this man. You want to doubt this man? Not doubt this man. I want to get your thought on one of your former teams here, the baby Lakers, who are growing up right in front of our eyes. It's just so magical. Last night, D'Angelo Russell posted a game-high 32 points. Julius Randle posted his second career triple-double. They're 7-5 now, guys, and obviously we knew without Kobe, the Lakers were going to look different than they had the past 2 decades. But what do you think about what you're seeing here?
Well, I'm liking the fact that they're going out on the road and winning games. Mm-hmm. That's always a sign of a team that has some purpose. And if they keep that attitude and focus and understand what their job is when they go on the road, they're going to be a tough team.
You know what I like? I like the fact that guys are accepting whatever their role is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I take Nick Young, for example, right? Somebody that was buried on the bench last year, but he looks like a completely different player.
He's playing defense.
He is playing D. I mean, he's playing smart basketball within the system. He's not taking ill-advised shots. D'Angelo Russell looked like he's ready to be an all-star soon. And Julius Randle is doing everything out there. So I like that these guys are having fun on the basketball court. They playing hard. They look like a fun group to watch.
Cursing a little bit there, apparently, too, as well. They had to put up
when you have 17 in the first quarter, feeling yourself a little bit.
You let it go. Is it nice to see some of the shine back on the Lakers, too? Because it's fun to go to games right now. I mean, look, no one thinks they're winning the title this year, but it had to be a little bit depressing the last couple of years to feel like I'm a former
A little
Laker.
bit depressing?
The Laker fans need something to feel good about, and the fact that the team is competitive now, that's all they want. That's all the fans need to feel better about their team, and they'll give them all the support in the world. It's a great town to play sports in for that reason.
Well, I'm trying to just imagine Kareem all these years where he's so polite, he holds his tongue, right? You guys built this incredible legacy, this incredible monument to basketball and what it should be and what a franchise should be. And then you watch what the franchise became. Must be nice to see it.
Well, you know, those things are cyclical. You know,
you have a better perspective than them.
Yeah. you go through times when everything. I think the Lakers paid a price for all the good luck they had over the years.
Well, karma.
Because they had some incredibly lucky things happen to them. All right, the draft choice that they used to choose Magic was a trade they got for Gail Goodrich.
Yeah.
They had no idea. They traded him to the Jazz.
Right.
Trading Blotty for Kobe.
Unbelievable, right?
There you go. I do want to stay in L.A. and just talk about the Clippers as well, because, again, a very different franchise from back when you were playing. This is certainly not the team that you faced back in the day. They've got a 10-1 record, best defense in the league. They've won 7 straight. I mean, it's great. No one's trying to win November, though, Tracy. Is there any worry that they're peaking here?
No, I mean, listen, I expected these guys to play well because they've been together quite some time, right? I mean, they have that type of chemistry, and they're healthy.
Right.
That's a big key to their success. They're healthy. And what I like is that these guys are playing fun basketball. They're playing together. Chris Paul is obviously being Chris Paul and leading the charge, but they added some more depth to their bench that is really helping them out. I like Mo Spates coming off their bench. And, let's see if this continues throughout the season. I mean, it's early to tell, but they're playing well. They're one of the best now.
Tracy's so right about the depth issue, because that's what gets you there. Mm-hmm. Because guys get hurt. Well, guys sometimes, are up and down, and when you have guys on the bench that bring up the slack, it helps everybody. So, they're doing a better job, keeping the right personnel together, and they're seeing the results.
Doc Rivers not normally given a ton of credit for his personnel decisions. Should he be inching over more into that category now?
Jeez, I don't know how much how much of that is his.
He went out and got Mo Spates. I mean,
Yeah.
He's
okay.
focused more on the bench this summer.
I think he should take some credit for that. I mean, he went out and got the players. He put the pieces together. So.
Right.
And I think you also got to give credit to Blake, who we knew was going to come back this year with a renewed attitude after everything that he went through last season. But it's the way he's playing defense. If you watch the clips of him just playing D, we already know what a talent he is offensively. But the help it's just, it looks like all the talk he did over the summer about how he realized what basketball meant to him and was rededicating himself. I got to tell you, honestly, we hear that from players so often. It's sometimes hard to take it as seriously, but he's walking the walk,
He's
right?
showing it. It's one thing to say it, but when you actually get into it and prove back your words up, I mean, that's growth.
When a team gets a secondary leader like that,
right,
things get better, because now you got more than one person handling all the stress, and all the guys start to pile on, and I wouldn't be surprised if they continued this, because it's going to get easier for them, once they learn,
right,
and it becomes their culture.
I All right. Thank you. I know it worked that way on your Lakers teams. And we're going to talk during the break about who was the first and who was the secondary leader, because I want to get a little gossip here. But anyway, when we return, we're going to discuss the impact of size on long-term health of NBA players. But first, height, tallness. Let me just make that clear. But first, let's go back to this date in 1993 for our distant replay.
Owens, back to Green, into the hands of Sprewell. Fast break down to Weber. He turns. Look out behind the back, and the step and the foul. What a play by Weber.
Weber is making all the statements. Charles wanted to make a statement, but Weber's having the last word.
The Jump is presented by Doers, the world's most awarded blended Scotch whiskey. Live true. Drink responsibly.
Check out our NBA doubleheader on ESPN tonight, Warriors-Raptors. Now, that starts at 8 Eastern, but you really want to tune in at 7 o'clock Eastern because Tracy McGrady,
I will be
Michelle
there.
Beadle, Chance, all the guys will be on Countdown tonight, along with Luke Walton. Luke Walton is going to guest on the pregame show. And then Grizzlies-Clippers is the nightcap. Then afterward, of course, you catch Sports Center at night. Now, we want to move on to talk about ESPN, the magazine. Their tall ball issue hits the shelves on Friday, and it includes a feature story with Karl Anthony Towns, plus an interesting survey of the 66 NBA players listed at 6'8" or taller. Now, one of the questions in the survey was, do you fear long-term health issues due to your height? And I found that interesting, that 19% of the players polled said yes. I don't know if that's high or low, actually. 81% said no. So I got to ask two former players who fit the criteria.
I mean, look at this guy, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's been retired for 27 years.
Still, clearly.
7 foot.
Right.
One.
Do you have any long-term fears?
Just take care of your damn self.
You have to take care of yourself the best you can, and then hope that there's nothing waiting to waylay you. But
you can't get lazy. You know?
Right, and that is part of the thing,
You
right?
play this sport for quite some time, and then when you stop playing,
it's a lot to carry.
Yes, it's a lot to carry. You just got to stay in shape.
Right.
a lot of athletes, when they retired and just stopped everything, as soon as they
when
retired,
the problem happens.
then
right.
they got this
heart problem.
fat around their heart, and it killed them.
We did have Larry Bird say you don't see a lot of 75-year-old 7-footers walking around, so I guess it's all about balance. Thank you so much for being
You're
with
welcome.
us.
College football lives here. After a chaotic weekend in college football, Louisville's playoff hopes are alive and well.
Touchdown, Louisville!
Up next, they face a dangerous Houston Cougar team on the road.
47 yards right up the middle. Hello, Heisman Trophy.
Coverage begins Thursday at 7 Eastern on ESPN and on ESPN Radio. Presented by Dr. Pepper. Louisville heads to Houston to face a dangerous Cougar team on Thursday night.
47 yards right up the middle.
Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN and on ESPN Radio. Presented by Dr. Pepper.